Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're listening, watching. Welcome to Your Onion Podcast. Today we have a special guest. His name is Sam, and I'm going to try his surname, but Tfaily?
Hey.
Was that right?
Yeah, don't underestimate yourself. You're good. You did that really well.
Thank you very much. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Sam, like all my other guests, can you give us a brief introduction about yourself and how you ended up here on the beautiful shores of Qatar?
Right on. Well, so I originally started in Lebanon about a few decades ago. Moved to the U.S. about 16 years ago and started my journey there. Started with
all right, I'm going to stop you. Why did you go from Lebanon to the U.S.? Was it family?
I was the only one who traveled there and stayed there on my own there. I have
yourself?
Old family there.
Oh, okay.
I have fourth generation cousins there. It was my time to be able to go, and I went there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what did you do in the U.S.?
Until I got back to college, tried to find the job at the bakery. My first job was a bakery. And then I got into awning and graphic design and started working there and worked my way up to be able to manage like a shop and production. And then I got into car dealerships. So I started...
What, in America?
Yeah.
So are they like, a second-hand car dealer or a brand new car dealer?
Yes. I would go to the auctions and select, the cars that I would want to buy. Win the bid, take them out, and clean them and sell them. So they're used cars. They're usually the cars that a leasing agency would get in returns. So they're clean cars. They just don't want them on their fleet at that moment because they don't know how to move them. And then they sell them on auction. I go buy them and clean them, give them a really good clean. And
so was it like we see in the movies about, with the second-hand car dealers where, it's a big forecourt with a, single-story office.
Yeah,
and the owners,
pretty much.
Owners generally quite overweight and...
On the auction line, you're trying to get the best deal. On the sales side, when you're dealing with people, you're dealing with a person. Yeah. And this person is coming in, they're looking for a second-hand car. It's either a college starter, this guy, his kid is in first year in college and they want to buy him a car. So he goes there and he's trying to get him the best car for whatever money he's got.
So you were profiling people while you're...
They come to me usually.
But I bet you can tell the different types of people that will walk through the door. You go, yeah, I know what kind of car they're after.
After a while, you get to a point where you can tell that this person is not going to buy a car from me.
Oh, really?
You could, yeah. And this person is just, it's going to take him another 3 months to make up his mind what kind of car he wants. Yeah. You can get to that point.
So how long were you doing that?
I made my way through college doing that.
Okay.
Graduated and moved out of the state and liquidated all the assets that I had in that state, and it was time for me to move on. And moved from Michigan to Kentucky, where I started with a General Electric. Mm-hmm. So I was sold on the idea that this is one of the founders, combines multiple founders of the United States, and it was my dream job.
And what were you doing?
To get it. I got to GE Appliances in one of their most significant time at the period where they were renewing all their appliance production lines. So they had one main initiative, and that was called the Mission One initiative, where we're bringing all these engineers, creating Mission One rooms to work together on developing the best washer or the best dryer or the best microwave of its time.
Oh, so it was like research and development, was it?
Research, development, and implementation. So we had the concept creation on site with the manufacturing, with the quality team, with the supplier management teams, a whole cross-functional team sitting together trying to make the best out of what we've got.
So what was your role?
Oh, man. So over a period of 6 years with GE, I had got to a point where I'm responsible for the microwave production line from a quality perspective. My background was supplier quality, production quality, product quality. So my suppliers at some point were like LG and Samsung and Panasonic and Sanyo. So got to travel a lot to Asia. That was tons of fun.
Yeah, I bet.
At the end of that, I had graduated my MBA and moved from GE Appliance to GE Capital in Chicago.
Okay.
There, at the end of that, I was managing $1.4 billion worth of assets for GE Capital. A few months in, my desire to get back into entrepreneurship kicked in after I moved to Chicago, and I was like,
why? So you're doing really well,
yeah,
and then the entrepreneur bug kicked in. He's taking a sip of tea.
It's those. I'm sure you've been in those moments where you're like going back to those critical decisions in life that you've
I hear a lot of stories as well. We've had a lot of people have that. So I'm just curious.
I was not expecting that question at all. Yeah. So, I mean, I moved from engineering and creation and product development to a financial industry.
Really?
And for me, it was like, okay, I want to get back into business. Because my background is, I've always had a business that I was working on myself or in partnership with somebody. No matter what size it is.
Okay.
The relationship aspect of it is what you work on. And I was in Chicago. This is where things were happening. And I was starting to go to these incubator meetings and wanted to get back into it. So I started learning about real estate investments, and I went out and launched a real estate investment company after a few training rounds and multiple dive-ins, and as well as a real estate specific marketing agency.
Okay.
Did that for 4 years. Still
by yourself, or did you?
No, I've had partners.
You had partners,
people,
okay.
Yes.
And how did that go?
Pretty well. It got me through the last 4 years in Chicago. I grew my family, 2 more members, and
okay, congratulations.
Thank you. And had fabulous times. Our office was exactly similar to this settings here, where you're not in the middle of the town. You're not taken by the crowdness of it, but you're very close to it, and you can just jump out and be in the middle of the city.
Okay, so what happened?
Then I, wanted to change. I wanted to come closer to the area here, and wanted give my family an international experience. And we decided that it's time to move, and Qatar was it.
Really? So you're doing well in the US. You're doing all this stuff, and then you thought, okay, I'm going to pack my bags and we're going to move to Qatar.
Yeah, pretty much.
Was there a job, or did you?
You know how it's like when you want to do something, you don't know what comes your way, and things start unfolding. And
you mean when you focus on something, when you have a vision, or
right? I wanted to come closer.
You wanted to come closer,
right? The first time I came to Qatar was in 2013.
Okay,
and it left a mark. Right, it's just being able. The way I describe it is Aladdin's land, 1,500 years into the future, like going into the souk, and walking in there. It's there's something that's magical about that experience that you can only have here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But did you go to any of the other countries around here? Or?
I went to Dubai. I went to Abu Dhabi.
But Qatar was the place that
I went to Dubai
grabbed
2
your heart?
times, and Qatar was. I came over to Qatar over the last 6 years, probably like 5, 6, 7 times maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's.
Okay. So what are you doing now? Let people know what you're actually doing.
So over the last year, I got into franchise consulting.
Okay, which
And
means?
franchise consulting. So we work with in the franchise system. We work with franchisors and candidates, people that want to become franchisees.
Right. Well, isn't there a load of franchises over here? So
we work specifically with emerging franchises. So the companies that we work with typically are at 50 units, and over the next couple of years they're going to expand to 500 units. They're known in a very specific area. They're led by entrepreneurs, people who persevered over a long period of time.
And this is around the world that you're bringing over to here, or the other way around, from here to.
So there are multiple things that we are capable of doing. Another initiative is to develop franchises here in Qatar.
Yeah.
And help craftsmen or business owners who are working on a specific concept to fine-tune it, to take it from here, help them bring it into the franchise system, and be able to market it for them in the US and in other areas of the world.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And do you go and find these people, or do they come and find you?
Yeah, both ways. Some people find us, some people we find them, and it's just like any other business, word of mouth, introductions, and we make our way to find each other. There is a common need that we can fulfill. Okay.
Well, just go through the system. I'm not familiar with the whole franchise. I know it's very popular in the UK, where there's even a franchise event that happens in London, I think, where all the franchise companies come and advertise, and then people who are thinking of taking up a franchise. So what are the stages if I'm interested? So all right, let's go one way. If I wanted to franchise Ginger Camel to other parts of the world, how would I go about it? I would come to you.
Great. Yeah.
So are you like a would you say you're like a broker? Or,
we're a consulting firm. What we do is we have a value add process. So let's take a step back. So you want to franchise Ginger Camel.
Yeah.
I think the name is great.
Thanks very much.
I appreciate the ginger tea.
Hey, I didn't plan that. I don't know where you got the ginger tea. Who gave him ginger tea?
I'm waiting for the camel.
Have you had a ginger camel biscuit?
I have not.
And we do that as well. Oh, that's in your giveaway pack afterwards.
Okay.
You'll get ginger camel.
That's something to look forward to.
Everything's ginger. Yeah.
So first we're just gonna look at the concept. Yeah. Is your concept unique? Do you have something that gives you a competitive edge? That
but then are you going to be honest with me if I'm not? You say, look,
I must.
Yeah. Have I already paid you for your consultancy?
If we're going through this process where you want to develop your franchise, you want to develop Ginger Camel into a franchise, yes, you would be paying me.
Yeah, but if I initially come to you, is there a fee just to say, hey?
I would give you an assessment. I would definitely give you an assessment.
No, anyone watching this, they want to know.
Okay, so the process is broken into 3 phases. Yeah. The first phase is basically the conversation, the initial conversation, just high level understanding of what your business is about. We might come on site and do an assessment. And the next one is we would look at the franchise, what we call, are you franchisable? Franchise Readiness Assessment, where we go thoroughly about everything in your business, from processes to marketing plans to HR systems to technical systems.
So I've got to have all this in place, or you would say you need this in place to be able to franchise?
Depends, right? So if you have it, then that's great. You've got it. That's a check mark. Yeah. If you don't have it, then that's an item on the report.
Okay.
We would generate a report and we would say, you're ready here. You need this to be done, and we can help you with that.
Yeah.
So by the end, you're able to you've got an action plan where if you want to get into the franchise system, you can take the actions necessary and be ready.
Okay.
So now you're ready.
Yeah.
That's where the next step is, the franchise development process. This could take anywhere between 2.5, 3 months, 3 months to 6 months. This is a project that we would be working on. We would have experts from the United States fly in here. We would have it's a project that we would kick in. We will go over communication on a weekly basis. You would have action items that you would have to accomplish, and we would be running through questionnaires where we collect information, and then we're going and creating what is called the operation manual for the franchise. If you're registered in the US, we would be working on the FDD, the franchise disclosure document, and we would create by the end of a franchise marketing plan for you. So at the end of that, you have everything you need, and along the way, you're being trained as the business owner on how to run a franchise.
Oh, really?
Yes. So by the end, you're able to go at the meeting room and start meeting with people that
could be potentially buying into your franchise.
And you would call them candidates. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And is it only the US that you deal with, or anywhere in the world?
This is fabulous.
Take another sip of that ginger tea.
So I am basically the master license for MENA region. And that's another opportunity that we would bring to investors in the region here. A master license basically is a holder for the rights to launch under the brand name, businesses under the brand name, to have access to the systems, and to also sub-lease the rights to the franchise to other franchisees.
Here in the MENA region?
In the MENA region.
So yes.
So this is with the company that I'm with.
Yeah.
Now, as a franchisor, so think about a company that is launched in the US. Okay, they have choice to come and manage store by store here in Qatar or in Oman, per se, where they open a restaurant, and now that restaurant owners are always trying to coordinate with the US base.
Yeah.
Or you can have a master license. That's a partner who would come in and have the rights to all Qatar or all Oman or all GCC.
Yeah.
And that individual or organization would be basically having access to all the systems that the franchisor have.
Right.
And they're able to basically play the role of the franchisor, and they have a partnership structure where they get the part of the three revenues of a franchise. One is the franchise fee. This is what you pay, a lump sum you pay upfront to acquire the rights to the brand and to the systems of the franchise. Two is the royalty fee. That's after you launch your business and you start generating revenue, then the franchisor is entitled to the royalty fee. That's a % of your revenue.
Right.
And the third one is basically you want to grow the brand. There is a marketing fund. So the marketing fund is something that as a franchisee, and depends on the franchise system, the company, some of them requires you as a franchisee to spend a specific % on marketing within specific guidelines, or sometimes under your own discretion. But some of them wants you to pay that % to them, and then they
market it. Oh, wow.
Right.
Wow, that's fascinating. So, wow. Yeah, so basically what you're saying is, so there can be, I can have a license for a franchise for, say, McDonald's, and then I can sell on, so people would buy from me, different restaurants in the area.
Right
So,
on.
yeah.
Yes. So you will be essentially the franchisor to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Rather than going
with all the support. So
yes.
what the slogan that I like about franchising model, it's you're in the business for yourself, but not by yourself.
Yeah.
Right. So you've got the support team.
Yeah.
And you've got a specific ability to make decisions on the ground. What I like about the international franchising is that it's open for interpretation. And when you're looking at the relationship between the franchisee and the franchisor, right? Because it's a new market. The franchise model that's made in the U.S. is designed for the U.S. market.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It's based on U.S. systems. It's based on... So, but there's a lot of it that translates. A lot of it that translates to here. There are definitely areas that require some adjustments.
But are you used as a kind of a middleman to advise?
As a middleman, well, I am a consultant.
Consultant, yes.
And the value that I bring to the table is the guidance, is the education, is
for the
know-how
franchisor
about the process to the franchisee, the candidate.
Yeah.
I'll work with them throughout the whole process. We break down the process in our consultation into 4 phases, right? We look at it and we say, okay, number 1, you got to know yourself. You got to know what are your goals, right? As a organization, what's the business plan, right? So we need to have a business plan.
But is it organizations that come to you that are interested in having a franchise, or is it individuals? And do you look at the two?
Yeah.
Okay. So where you say you got to know yourself.
So as in, we develop, at the end of that, we need to have a business plan.
Yeah.
That's basically what I mean.
So you still need a business plan even though you're buying into a franchise?
You must have a business plan to select the franchise that is suitable to your business plan. Yeah. Right? Franchise is an investment system. You're buying this franchise to generate income, to depend on what role you want to play. Yeah. You can be a owner operator, you can be an executive owner, or you can be a master license where you're so far away from the operations of the business. At the same time, you're guiding the direction, you're ensuring the system is operating at a high efficiency, by monitoring the high level KPIs of the business. Yeah. You can do that. So that would be an organization or the master license model. Yeah. If you're looking at it at the level of owner-operator or executive owner, then you got to have some involvement in the operation of the business. Yeah. Right. And whatever that involvement in the business that you're going to thrive in is going to be aligned with your previous experience in the management of that type of business. Yeah, of course. For example, you've always managed cars. I'm not going to suggest that you would get into franchise in
with food and beverage,
or salons, hair salons, or massage places, or right. Yeah, it's vast. Yeah. The world of franchising, you've got about 4,000 franchises out there. Really? Yes. Wow. And there are franchises that are so innovative, that are coming in and growing so fast before you even notice it.
Well, that's what that was going to be my next question. Well, 2 questions. One, have you seen certain franchises not actually working in this region? And because they're too forward, they're too ahead of the game, and this region isn't ready for it. So have you seen franchises not actually working, or have you been surprised by some?
I wouldn't be surprised, and I am sure that there are some that came in without all the due diligence necessary to study the way that the business is, the whole business model. What assumptions is it being built on, right? If you don't study that, then you don't know what comes out when you start running the business. And the other part is it relevant to the population here?
Yeah, but this population is quite fluid,
right?
So is it quite harder? Is it harder to run a franchise here because you are getting a lot of people coming in, leaving, and then there's a local population as well that you've got to look after. So
there are definitely models that would work here and models that would not work. Yeah, here. That's if this is the point. Yes, hands down. No, we can't just go in about it and say any model that works in the US is going to work here.
But as a consultant, you're always looking at the whole market and
Right.
seeing how what things work and what.
So my team in the US is about 130 consultants, and each brings expertise from, you know, different part of the world and different background. And that's a resource. So I'm not going to say I know everything about the market here, because I don't. I'm learning every day.
Yeah.
At the same time, the system, the way that consultation process works, and how it's designed to uncover the answers to those questions. Is this system going to work? Is it going to work for you or not? Are you going to enjoy managing this, no matter at what level of KPI?
Yeah.
Right. And we will figure that out, and then we will recommend 2 to 3 concepts that we would work with you on making sure that you acquire.
Yeah. Now, moving forward, and we're heading to the World Cup.
Yeah.
Are you seeing more interest in Qatar with franchises?
I tell my friends, they're like, you know, when they ask me the question, why did you move to Qatar? I said, one, I want to make sure that I can get those tickets for the World Cup. I want to be in those stadiums. I want to watch the games front seat. You know, I mean, this is amazing.
Yeah.
This is fabulous. So if you look at it, this is the first time a World Cup is being hosted in the Middle East. This is historic.
Yeah.
This is a first of, right? There's only one time that this will happen. The first time that the World Cup is going to be hosted in the Middle East. One time. And this is it. We're part of it.
Yeah.
Right? So it's definitely exciting. And just to see the level of growth over the last 6 years of me coming at, you know, separate intervals, maybe like every 8 months, a year, 2 years. And every time you notice how this evolution is going about building, like, we're in Lusail, right?
Yeah.
This is a new city. It's not even complete yet. And just watch or project what the impact of that over the next 4 years before World Cup, or even the Vision 2030,
Yeah.
right? So it's exciting to be part of that much evolution, that much change. At the same time, being able to be part of the business world here, I think is very exciting.
And as an entrepreneur, are you happy and satisfied with what you're doing, or are there other embers in the fire that, you know, because as we're moving forward?
Yeah, satisfied. I don't know. Are you ever satisfied?
True.
Yeah, it's the moment that we get fully satisfied, I think we stop having the reason to grow. And
so will you be doing the same thing in a few years' time, or you got other
I will
plans?
definitely be putting all my effort into making this a success.
Yeah.
And take it to as far as I can humanly possibly be able to.
Actually, sorry to cut you off, but I'm just curious about, you know, if I had a master license,
Yes.
Is there times where the franchisor is not happy with the person who's got the master license, and can that be taken away if they're not?
It's a contract. It's
okay,
a contract.
so if
It's
you're
an
not
agreement.
fulfilling your side of the contract, then they go, okay.
That's the beauty of working with franchises that are emerging, because they're still in that development phase. They're still young. They're still flexible. So the agreement, the terms of the contract are somewhat flexible. Not so flexible. What I'm saying, there are some negotiation terms, because you go and deal with, you know, a mogul of a franchise, been there for 100 years, and those are the terms. Take them or leave them, and we don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're ready to take those terms, then we will go and assess the situation and decide whether we can grant you the rights or not. And besides, the master licenses are already gone with large
Well,
companies.
yeah, I'm sure.
And some of them, at some point, they don't want to give master license anymore. If you've got enough mass, why would you give a master license, right? So coming in, the advantage of coming in at the immersion level it's like you invested in Apple in the 1970s,
yeah,
right, or 1980s.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a huge opportunity, and we're in the middle of it.
Nice. So, how can people get a hold of you if they're interested in, setting up a franchise or buying into one?
I've got a phone number. I've got an email.
Okay.
I've got a website. So the email is, the company is the Franchise Consulting Company.
Yeah.
The franchiseconsultingcompany.com/Menat, MEAMENAT. And my email is sam@thefranchiseconsultingcompany.com.
Okay.
Shoot me an email and we will definitely connect.
Super. Well, thank you, Sam. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
It's been enlightening.
Same here.
Because I've always been curious about the whole franchise setup and how it all works. So you've answered a few of my questions. Not that I'm interested in franchising Ginger Camel, but you never know. I never say never. So I appreciate you coming on, and keep in touch. And, any changes in your life or any new business ventures, you know where we are.
Perfect.
All right.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And we wish you all the best for this week. And we'll catch up with you next week. Take care.